being a woman is a challenge itself. When I was working in a service industry, even then I faced challenges. When I'm working as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, there are a lot of challenges. Everything that you put on your skin, the pores that we have, they absorb it. When we put the cream and we're like, oh wow, so nice, it's absorbed. You have no idea what just got absorbed in your skin.
Today, I have with me a young entrepreneur from Mumbai who runs her own sustainable and luxury skincare brand. And we've spoken about everything from women in business to the intricate process of soap making. This conversation has been so much fun. It was so raw and natural. I didn't want it to stop, but we had to. And I hope you can see how much fun we had together putting it for you, but that's for you to see. So stay tuned till the end of this very episode where we learn together how we can make small businesses sustainable from within. Here's episode 3 on the SGGS podcast starting right now. Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Sephra's Green and Greener show where we try to decode simpler steps to sustainable living. I'm your host, Sephra Abraham, and I'm also the founder of Green India, your one-stop vegan shop. Today, I'm joined by Faaizah, who is the founder of Batti Co. Over to you, Faaizah.
Hi guys, my name is Faaizah and I'm the founder of Batti Co.
Awesome. Okay, without wasting any more time, let's get into it. What is Batti Co. and why that name? It's super unique, so I want to know the story behind it.
Absolutely. So, to answer your first question, what is Batti Co? Batti Co is essentially a brand which handcrafts vegan skincare, bath, body, and home fragrance products. Started about 3 years ago during pandemic, like many other small businesses which are mushrooming around us. And why the name Batti Co is because I'm a small town girl. I'm very desi at heart, and but the exteriors are like very like okay, like we have kind of grown up in the world. We know the luxuries of the world. We enjoy the luxuries of the world. So I wanted to create something which, I mean, from a product's point of view, I wanted to create a product which is made with desi ingredients, but has the quality of your uber premium everyday luxury product. And I really wanted the name to show that, represent that. And Batti essentially means cake of soap. So it means sabun ki batti, as we colloquially in Hindi we say that. So it's cake of soap. So because my first product was actually it was a melt and pour soap. It was almost like a crafty thing. So that's why, and I honestly never thought that range, this brand will ever have a second product. Yeah, but so hence Batti and Co.
I really love the name and it's very unique as I said earlier. But I think, to understand the brand better and you better, I think we should go back to, your roots. So why don't you take me through how you started your career and, where did you go to college? Tell me more about yourself.
So as I said, I'm a small town girl. I come from a city called Durg from Chhattisgarh, which used to be Madhya Pradesh before 2000. And I came here to Bombay to study. I've done my bachelor's in mass media. And yeah, then I found a job, started my career in advertising. It's been after working for about 12 years, I quit advertising. That is also because of Batti and Co. So I had started Batti and Co in almost like in tandem with my regular day job, and I was like torn because I love advertising. I still do. I miss it, but I mean, it was that you can't do two things, and like not wholeheartedly. At least you can do 5 things, but not wholeheartedly. So, and the minute I felt that, if I go in 100% in advertising, my brand suffers. And if I go 100% in my brand, my work suffers. That's why I decided, okay, let's take the plunge.
Lovely. So how long were you able to sort of sustain both?
2 years.
2 years. You made it sound like, you did it for like 2 months and you're like, this is hard. 2 years you did it's like 2 full-time jobs. That's super commendable. And I think a good inspiration for all you entrepreneurs out there. You can try to do two and then then you can make a choice. But I think that's some like inspiring stuff right there. Okay, you told us you have soaps. We are confident of that. What are the how many SKUs do you have in total?
I think we have 42 SKUs right now. So it started with melt and pour soaps. Very soon I realized it's great for crafts, but it's not going to benefit anybody's skin if I'm going with that route, in that route, right? I wanted to create something, even if it's for hobby or it's like side business or side hustle or whatever. It make some difference in someone's life, right? And melt and pour is great for children to do crafts and have fun with it. So that's when I started learning soap making, and there are two types of natural soap making that happens. One is a hot process, and the other one's cold process. Amongst both of them, cold process is considered the best way to make a soap, which is the most natural feeling. It will not harm your skin. It will not harm uh, anything. Like, it will only give you natural benefits and nothing else. So I decided, okay, so first I understood which one's better, which is cold process. Then I started to kind of learn cold process soap making. I read, like, I don't know how many books about it.
Right. Did you have any like professional training or are you like self-taught?
No, I'm not self-taught. I've done a lot of courses. Some were Australian courses. Some were US-based certified people who were, kind of doing this online. So I've taken a lot of online courses. I've never traveled to kind of learn it or whatever. But
Pandemic business.
pandemic business, so everything was online. Okay, so yeah, then I learned how to make it, and I failed so many times. It's not even funny. I've wasted a lot of material. I've wasted a lot of money because everything was coming out of your pocket, right? So but yeah, after, like, I don't know how many, I'm sure there must be at least 15 to 20 times when I failed, I finally started to get the zone, what happens. And it's very important to understand your ingredients and how they react, right? So, and that's when you kind of understand what's going wrong. So it was a very minute process of kind of getting it right. And till date, it is one of the most difficult things to make. Soaps, yes, the cold process soaps. And even after now feeling very confident in the process and in the recipes and all of that, in the formulations, it is a lot of, like, it takes a lot of time. So even if I'm done making it today, it will take 4 weeks to cure.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because it needs to, like, there's a lot of water content in it. So the water needs to evaporate on a natural level. You cannot put heat, you cannot put them under sun. It needs to naturally evaporate out of the soap, and hence it becomes all lathery, and it will give you the perfect texture, and it will glide on your skin and all of that.
That's, I mean, interesting. I had no idea it took 4 weeks for a soap. You said you failed like 15, 20 times. So how long did that take? So I'm assuming you started your courses like in the pandemic or was it slightly before?
No, it was during pandemic. So this entire thing actually started out like a weekend hobby thing. I just wanted to do something which was not work. And I mean, we are so used to going out and partying and chilling with friends and going for coffees and this and that suddenly when you are in those four walls, you just don't know how to chill anymore. Okay, and we were all working from home at the time. I was like, what to do? So I said, okay. So बहुत छोटी थी मैं तभी I had learned candle making. So I started with doing some candle stuff at home, but I was like, this is very boring. This I understand. How, why? Kuch to different, like something different. That's when the melt and pour happened, and I was like, I made my own sabun.
That was your aha moment.
So yeah, then that's how it started.
From your soap to the 41 other SKUs that you mentioned that you made, was there any like inspiration in terms of like someone, gave you feedback? Are you made soap? Can you make this also? Can you make that also? So how did that go?
So honestly, it's my family and my friends who were, so first everything was getting tested on me, and then once I was confident in the product, used to go to them. So they have all of them, and I have a very close circle of friends and family. Like literally, all of them could be counted on these 10 fingers. So they, and all are genuine people, right? And they give you good feedback, honest feedback, like, no, Faiza, this is not working, or maybe, you should try this or that. So, ऐसे करते करते I don't think they were intending to, but they were really involved in Batti and Co.
How sweet. We're so lucky. Like it's touch wood to get to have the support of your friends and family is the most.
No, and I'm truly grateful, Sefra, because I know and I'm seeing so many people around us, all of us, right? It's very difficult to have this dependable circle. And I think it's a blessing that I have. So that for sure I'm very, very grateful for. So people around me told me, okay, hey, you know what? Okay, cold process soap you've done now. Why don't you add candles to your range, because okay, so I'll just go a step back and I'll tell you what happened was these soaps were little novelty soaps, right? So people were, rather than buying it for themselves, they were buying it to gift it to people, because it was just something new to kind of give it to somebody else. Then one of my friends said that, if it's gifting, then add a candle, because bath goes with nice home fragrances.
Like a whole spa.
Yeah, and I was like, but hey, you know what? That's not my vision. I was at one product, okay, and I was talking about my vision, but it's cute.
Yeah.
But
That's how you build. You have to have a vision, man.
I was like, no, but it's a bath and body brand, guys. How would I? Like, no, we insist. And then one friend said, and the other friend said, and I was like, fine, let's do this.
And you already had the experience with candle making.
I kind of knew the basics of it, right? And candle making is also it's a very delicate science. Not a lot of people understand because it looks so crass and easy, right? Ki, oh, garam kiya, undela, wick lagaya, and done, you're sorted, you have a candle. It's not that, okay? Anyway, so that happened, and then I realized, no, whatever I knew, it was like a child. It was like a hobby that I had understood. So then I did a lot of candle making classes and courses to understand right temperatures and right time to put the fragrance oil and all. There's a lot of nitty gritty, and I think the success is in the details, right? So you need to understand the details, how much ever time it takes. So that then came along candles. Then one of my hot selling products is whipped soaps.
That was going to be my next question. What are your best sellers?
That is also a friend's suggestion. So literally, and you know what happens when I was doing, as you rightly said, I was technically doing 2 jobs for 2 years. I was so in my own head that I could not had that like a broad vision of saying, okay, now the next steps are to get this and this and that in the range. I was like, oh, very focused in how to sell this, right? So that's where these friends and family members and all of those guys came into the picture.
Right.
And yeah, they have all been involved and giving feedback and even suggesting what else can be done. Yeah.
But that's pretty awesome. So if you remember, when did you make your first sale to someone you didn't know? Like a customer was like, and they bought from you.
I think it was, about... So my first sale was technically the melt and pour soaps that I used to make.
Which you started in March 2020, around that.
That was around June
2020.
So Batti & Co was born around first week of June sometime. Yeah. So, I mean, we branded it in June. Obviously, it started, like, my soft launch ho gaya tha. But, like, officially, we are June babies. So, yeah. So, my first sale actually happened with those melt and pour soaps. It was not technically a friend sale, but one of my really old friends from my college. So when I was posting these things and it was really colorful. So melt and pour actually gives you bright colors because you use artificial colors in that. How much ever skin safe they are, they're artificial. Let's just call them whatever they are, right? So, and they used to look like bright, and I used to do those tie and dye colors and designs and all of that. So I think he must have shown it to his dad, and his dad is like a super soap bath body fanatic, okay? So his dad called me one day, like, I'm your friend's father, and he showed me this. I want to order. He ordered like some 10, 12 pieces in one go. He's like, I'm going to gift it. So it was, I think, somebody's some function at home or whatever. So yeah, that was the time I was like, oh, मुझे डब्बे भी खरीदने हैं क्योंकि अगर मैं किसी को 12 pieces दे रही हूँ तो how will I give it to them? Yeah, थैली. So yeah, I mean,
But it's like it's all a journey, right? You do A, then you're like, oh my god, what about B, C, D? What do I do? What do I do?
it's like you're perpetually in anxiety. Okay.
And I'm assuming at that time when you started, like, did you have a team?
No,
Just you, right?
it was just me.
So you have to be like you have to be the marketing, you have to be the operation, you have to be the HR, you have to be everything basically.
Content creation to production to packaging to like everything. Yeah, I think the only thing that I have not been involved in is my branding. That was so I have like my best friend who's now in US, but so her name's Nandini, and
Yeah.
she's a superb art director. Comes from the same field that we all come from, me, my husband, and all. So and she volunteers like, hey, give na like she also thought ki as a hobby I'll make one nice logo for her and do some branding. And that's the same logo that we use till today, and everybody loves it. And
Yeah, your branding is really fab.
thank you. I will convey that to Nandini.
We can get in touch with Nandini soon. But yeah, shout out to Nandini. Hope you're watching this. Your friend loves you and your work is great. Okay, getting back into your soaps and your products in general. So I have two questions now. How are they different process-wise? I think you've given us a little bit of context, of course, in terms of the cold processing. Am I saying it right?
Whole process.
Correct, cold process. So any other processes on the back end of the operational part of it that are different than your conventional brands that you get in a supermarket? And the second part is on your consumer end, like, how is it perceived and how is it marketed to be different from your regular store-bought soap?
So the back end, the making of it is absolutely different. As I said, cold process takes a lot of time, right? If you're in HUL, you don't have that time. So that's one difference. The second difference is ingredients. If you want to be a massy brand, you need to be in the massy bracket of, and don't take me wrong, I'm not using the word massy in any kind of negative connotation, but just the way, like, it works out for a larger population. The price range needs to be affordable. And rather than affordable, it should be easily affordable. One is affordable, which is kind of aspirational zone. Ki, okay, oh, it's 200. 200 is fine, yeah, for like fun. But the minute it becomes 400, it's no more fun.
Yeah.
Right? It's no more even in the affordable zone. But when you sell a regular, any other brand commercial soap, how much ever they quote that they have natural ingredients in it, or a drop of milk, or a drop of honey, or this or that, first of all, they cannot use natural ingredients because the shelf lives of these products are so high. Years and years, like at least bare minimum 2 years, if I'm not wrong, commercial soaps. So they can't use natural ingredients, and even if they do, then they have to mask it with very heavy chemical preservatives. Okay, and natural ingredients are expensive. So another reason they cannot afford it in their 80 rupees soap.
Yeah.
So what they do is they create. There are different companies who are into the business of creating extracts, right? So किसी के dry extracts होते हैं, किसी के liquid extracts होते हैं. They use like a tiny drop of that extract.
Okay.
Trust me, it's not doing anything to your skin.
Got it. It's just for the smell?
No, it's just for the tick mark.
Oh, कि ये ingredient है.
You can have a 0.001% of honey in that soap, but it can still be put into the ingredient list.
Okay, and that's what sells.
That's what sells.
Got it.
So all your jojoba oils and onion and this and that. Oh no, trust me, there's nothing in there. Like, not at least in the commercial ones. Even if there is, the percentage of it is so minuscule. It's not going to do anything for you. Yeah.
So natural ingredients then are obviously the crux of your brand.
They are.
So what are the main natural ingredients that are going in from the process making part of things?
So cold process soap, if you ask me, majority of our ingredients are like your oils and butters. So vegetable oils and butters. So when I say vegetable, it's not like sunflower oil or groundnut oil, which can also be used. And they are amazing for your skin because they restore your natural moisture and all of that. But we don't use them. We use a little bit higher end oils like argan oil, avocado butter, shea butter, cocoa butter. So these are amazing ingredients with so much natural benefits that, I mean, there is a reason, right? When we see Vaseline ka dabba with a cocoa butter ka sign on it, we're like, हाँ चलो, this is better for winters. Because it is. Cocoa butter is amazing for dry skin. So we use these kind of ingredients in our soaps. There was a time when I used to use added color. Now we have even moved away from the added color, though although they were all very skin safe, certified colors. Just trying to be as much natural as I can. Like we have almost achieved 95% of natural ingredients.
Wow, I think that's a big number for, for any, like, especially a small business to achieve that.
It's very difficult, Sefra, because it's first of all it's incrementally expensive. Like the more the higher the quality of ingredients, the more expensive they are.
Of course.
Right? And because I'm a small business and I'm not doing mass production in a factory unit, I don't get the bulk discount. So I'm paying a lot.
Yeah.
Keeping my margins as low as possible because my only intent is to just put this nice looking, interesting looking and skin loving products out there. So like if you ask me whipped soap mein we put sweet almond oil, we put shea butter. So some of them have shea butter, some don't. We try to color them with clays. Like I have this one of the green and white one. So the green color is with glacial marine clay. Now glacial marine clay is one of the rarest clays. Comes from the glaciers. Right? I have a very nice bright yellow whipped soap. So the yellow comes from turmeric. So we try to use as many natural colorants as possible.
And how easy or difficult, I would say, in this regard, is it to source all of these ingredients?
So it's I mean, it's not that difficult.
Okay.
Okay. It's just the expense angle is there. But मिल तो सब जाता है यार. मतलब we are India. So India में ही ये सारी चीजें होती हैं and all of that. हाँ, जैसे glacial marine clay है वो भी मिल रहा है.
Okay.
लेकिन वो expensive होता है.
But all of these things are manufactured in India, or is it like imported from?
So some raw materials may be imported from some other countries. Like I have this ingredient, this clay called Rasool red clay. It's a Moroccan clay. So I'm sure it does not come from India. But its raw materials come to India and then they process it in India. So it's not just packaging in India, it's processing and packing in India.
Got it. That kind of makes sense. And what about your, you also mentioned, I think, avocado oil, right? So is that also similar? Matlab, is it like made here,
So all my oils are generally made here only because that's what I at least know from my vendors, that it's processed and created here.
Okay, great. So I mean, that's awesome. You have you have clarity in your supply chain, which is also like a very big deal, especially when you're trying to, it just ingredients being vegan is one thing, but knowing where your ingredients are coming from, is it good, is it bad, is also something. So kudos that you've done it on both ends. Yeah.
No, thank you so much, Evra, for pointing that out. But that's the thing, right? If you don't know where your ingredients are coming from, you don't know the authenticness of it. You don't know the credibility of the ingredient, and then how can you put it in your product, which is going to be on somebody's skin? If I don't know that, then I cannot ask you to buy it.
Correct.
Right?
So you're fully out there with like complete transparency and complete, like, everything, your stuff.
At least whatever I know, I put it out there.
So Faaizah, going back to something you said, that all your ingredients are 100% vegan and you really wanted your products to be vegan. So the question arises, are you personally plant-based?
No, I'm not.
Okay. I mean, of course, there's no, we don't, want you to be plant-based or not. That's not a question at all. So any reason then why you wanted your products to be 100% vegan?
Okay, so couple of reasons. And I will be superbly honest with you. I started with reason number one, and then I kind of understood the reason number two while being in that space, right? So first things first came to my mind is like, okay, great, yes, नानी ने बताया था कि कच्चा दूध लगाने से शक्ल सुंदर दिखती है, ग्लो करता है, ये वो, बट ज़रूरत नहीं है. ओके, लाइक ग्रेट स्किन केयर, great baths and body products, great candles. Ideally, you don't need animal-based products, right? There are enough and more plant-based products, extracts in different formats available. Like, honestly, you don't need it. And the second reason is, while being in this space, I realized that some of the plant-based ingredients are actually better and more effective than the animal-based ingredients.
So you used your body as like the trial tool for this?
Yeah, no, so I mean, no, this was one of the things I actually learned from one of my books that I was just kind of, reading while learning about all these things. So it was all about how we think that goat's milk is amazing for our skin, honey makes you glow, and all of that. All of that can be achieved and in a more effective way
Right.
with plant-based ingredients. You don't have to bother the bees or the goats or anything. Like it's not necessary.
I'm so happy to hear that. So for someone who's advocating or wanting to use goat's milk, as you just mentioned, what would be the perfect substitute and what can we find at Batti & Co that would work?
So there is no substitute. I cannot give you, or at least probably I don't know of that there is these same structure, same chemical structure is here also. No, I don't know probably, but there are enough and more things as options that you can use to achieve one feature. Okay, like for example, if you're saying goat's milk work really well, right, on the dry skin and all because it gives you a lot of moisture. There are other numerous ingredients like, as I said, shea butter, cocoa butter, avocado butter, any kind of butters, any kind of clays are generally thought about as an oily skin person's best friend, right? Clays are magical elements. So if you have extremely oily skin, they will absorb the excess oil from you. But if you have really dry skin, they will give you some moisture. Okay, so they are natural humectants. Glycerin. So vegetable glycerin is another humectant. So mat karo yaar use. It's fine. There's like enough and more things that you can use in combination to create an effect, a desired effect on your skin. Yeah.
Humectant. That's a new word and a new learning for me today. I'm along with a lot of things you said, but humectant is definitely a word that's going to stick in my mind, which I love. So, Faiza, we spoke a little bit about the process part of making a commercially available soap versus Batti & Co. What about the difference to the consumers? How do I benefit from using a Batti & Co versus a store-bought soap, if I can?
Yes, absolutely you can. Okay, so there are pros and cons of it, right? The pros are essentially the ingredients because the commercial soap ingredients are A, not natural, B, very heavy on chemicals and preservatives and all those things. And a lot of these soaps, they have carcinogenic elements to them. So what happens is everything that you put on your skin, the pores that we have, they absorb it. Little portions of it get absorbed, but over the period of our entire life, so many soaps, so many, like numerous shampoos and soaps and creams are going inside it. When we put the cream and we're like, oh wow, so nice, it's absorbed. You have no idea what just got absorbed in your skin. Right? So that is one of the major key differences in using something which is made naturally or handcrafted or has a smaller shelf life. Right? People always get scared and like, अरे यार ये तो साल भर में expire हो जाएगा, 9 महीने में expire हो जाएगा. It's a good thing, guys. It's not a showpiece that needs to be like, on your shelf for the rest of your life. So that's the actual benefits of it. That's the pro of using a natural ingredient-based skincare, bath and body product or whatever. The con is the cost of it, the price of it, right? So the cost that I incur in making it and the price at which you're buying it, both are high, right? So, literally all of us, all small businesses who are who are in the product side of the business and not the service side of the business, we incur the small batch cost. right? Because we have to create small batches. So we cannot buy very large quantities of our ingredients, the raw materials. So, and you're doing it on your own and you don't have like huge as, machinery set up and all of that. That's the cost that you incur. Now, where will that cost get recovered from? Because end of the day, hey, sorry, how much ever nice I want to be to nature, I am here to do business. So my money at least needs to come back to me. Even if I decide to keep my margin as low as possible, right? Some of us keep 5%, some of us keep 10%, 15%, depends people to people, person to person, and business to business. But जब मैं अपना सोप बाहर जाके बेचती हूँ और आप unaware insan ho, who is not in the know-how of, and there are a lot of us. I was one of unaware people 3-4 years ago. So when I go and I say, hey, 300 rupees ka soap or 400 rupees ka soap, you're like, what? That's like my 4 months ka soap budget. Okay? That's a lot. But just think about it to avoid some really stressful situations, medical situations, or skin irritations and all of that, right? Dry skin हो गई है, मतलब हम हमारे देश में dry skin कैसे होती है, right? Technically नहीं होनी चाहिए. With the amount of humidity, heat and all of that, नहीं हो सकती unless you're like living really up north जहाँ पे ठंड होती है. But हमारे देश में हम बॉम्बे में रहने वाले लोगों को भी dry skin है. There are so many new and like very common cases of eczema and skin irritations and all of that, and now it has become very common. एक टाइम था लोगों को eczema हो गया ना बहुत बड़ी बात होती थी. आजकल नहीं है क्योंकि वो इतना common हो रखा है. These are all the consequences of using things which are not natural. I'm not saying it will always result in this, but there is a very high chance that it will. So natural ingredients are better for you for the long run.
But I mean, that being said, yeah, I totally understand that the cost is a big, barrier for a lot of people. But hopefully, I mean, similar in the vegan space, like a lot of people have the misconception that veganism is such an expensive way of life, when in fact that what is actually expensive is the ultra processed stuff. Like, if you look at a vegan cheese or a mock meat or something, that it is associated with a little bit of luxury, but your day-to-day dal chawal or whatever you eat on a daily basis is actually inherently vegan, but it gets a bad rep for that, and totally understandably so. So it should be seen as not something to be consumed every day like your processed stuff, but as a luxury of some, right? So on one hand, I get it, and also raw materials. You completely have me there. I complete agreement. So until that balance is not reached, we as manufacturers, it's very difficult.
No, like it's as like how your EVs, your electric vehicles are definitely more expensive than your petrol vehicles, right? So unfortunately, in the world that we live in and the way things work, the demand, the supply, the economy of and all of that, it's just the way it is that anything that's sustainable, anything that's good for the environment is not mass produced, and hence it is sustainable. And because it's not mass produced, it is not as cheap as mass produced things. So it's that vicious circle that unfortunately we are like kind of stuck in. But I just urge people who can, please do that. Like, take that step. Let go of that one little thing that you can from your lifestyle, which is not directly affecting you. If you don't use that, it's not affecting you, right? It's probably as interesting to look at. Like one of my main motivations to be colorful in my natural stuff was that, we have seen so many other brands. I don't want to name a lot of them right now, but there's so many other brands who have been doing natural soaps and this and that. But they look ugly, yeah? Like, I don't want to pick it up. How much of it they're nice to use, I don't want to pick them up. And that was one thing that was like super clear to me from day zero, that मैं जो बनाऊंगी ना वो बहुत cool लगेगा. Okay? Because so I'm also we kind of position our brand as everyday luxury. Okay? So it is something that you can buy. It's not something which is अरे मैं birthday पे खरीदूंगी. It's not that. But yes, for a very large sect of our audience, probably we are little in that aspirational zone. But us to be there. Because, and not because of the pricing, but because of the way it looks and because of the benefits and all of that, right? You should be wanting to buy my products. You should not be buying it because acha ye safe hai. Maybe yes, I am safe. My product is safe for you and for your skin, but it's also superbly beneficial and it looks cool, yeah. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, you should. Why not? Why only one when you can do both? I like that. So, we've also done a lot of research about Batti and Co, your soaps, your journey. So you talk also a lot about customization. So that's something that is very interesting. So how can you take us through that? How can your soaps be customizable?
Yeah, we live in India, right? We have a large country with a very, very dense population. We have different skin types. We have different climatic conditions. We have like 4 different climatic conditions in one country, yaar. Matlab, it's just, it's not funny, right? It's the reality that our country lives in. So different skin types, different wants, desires, requirements, and all of that. So, and I'm not a mass produced brand. So I'm not going to say कि मैं ये 4 साबुन बनाती हूँ, सब खरीद, right? I am your everyday luxury. So what luxury means is it's it's fitted to your wants and desires and likings. So tomorrow, if you say, Faiza, okay, I love your body butter, but just like, can I have something which is fragrance free? It can be done. Why not?
Got it.
You want to remove a certain additional, at least the additional ingredients can be moved around. Uh, Not a lot of base ingredients can be moved around. But I'm always happy to even talk to people and understand their issues, their problems. I have a lot of people who, some of my like regular customers are there who are either allergic to colors or fragrances or different issues they have. Like I have a customer who has traveled the world and has tried all kinds of soaps and whipped soaps and liquid body washes and everything. She knows everything. She, for her, whipped soap is not a novelty item. But she's like, it's never worked for me. My skin is super dry and she gets a lot of allergic reactions. And she's like, I said, try it. So one day we got to chatting on DM, and absolutely, this is a stranger, right? It has nothing to do with any kind of friendship, connection, references, anything. And she just started chatting, and I told her, let me just make something and give it to you. So I made her a haldi whipped soap, which is sans fragrance, and we doubled up the amount of almond oil. So it's extra moisturizing for her. And I think it's been 8 months now. Every month on a certain date, she messages me, Faiza, repeat. And I'm like, okay. And that's all, right? She knows what she wants and she's liking it. She knows it's suiting her.
And that must be a huge deal because you said she's traveled all over the world and not found a match. So that's awesome that you created, with like a simple thing. You're like, let me try. And your experiment worked for her. So that definitely something you should talk about more. So more people will be like, let me message this girl who's going to make me a customized soap. I would love it. But yeah, good you told me. Let's catch up after this podcast. Okay. So now getting a little bit more into the business aspect of things because we do want to definitely talk about that. So you said you don't have the big machinery, you don't have the mass production and all of those deadlines and crazy things. So where's your soap getting manufactured?
As of right now, it's at my home.
True entrepreneur. I love it.
I mean, we are in Mumbai, yaar. The space is not cheap.
Yeah, tell me about it. My baby here, Green, was also started from home. We were selling products. Yeah, my house was at one point a mini, like, I can't even use the word supermarket. It was like a
It's warehouse, it's supermarket, it's everything.
people were coming to shop at my house. They were like, "Arey wow, I converted my study table into like some few shelves." I was like, I will use this also.
But that is so cool though.
The long shelf life products I was like storing in suitcases under my bed also. I was like, some jagah utilize hoga until I think my parents were like, nikal.
Bas ho gaya.
I was like, okay. And then, by everything happened well enough for us to then move out. But yes, it's a journey. And I guess it's a good, you learn a lot.
Yeah. I take pride in that. Like, I mean, we try to manage the mess as much as possible, but it's not possible, So the only people who visit my home, they are the ones who are okay and they understand where I am right now in my life, because I cannot be doing like socializing and getting 10 people like, hi, let's have high tea or let's have cocktails. I can't do that because my home's a mess most of the
But you must be smelling amazing.
It does.
I invite me, I'll come, I'll come. I'm okay with the mess. And
Yeah, you're familiar with the mess.
and that too not good smelling mess, man. Like you do not want to be dealing with the smell of cartons. It's the worst smell ever. It smells so bad because it really does. So imagine that smell. And I was entertaining people because I am shameless. But yeah. But no. I'm all jokes aside, please invite.
I will. You are openly invited, so that everybody here understands that you are invited.
Yes, I am damn excited about this.
It's messy, but yes, we have started from there. It started out of my kitchen, then it took another shelf, then it took another shelf. Then we actually got like customized wardrobes made so that my raw materials could get stocked in, because they come in canisters and those 5 liters cup buckets and all of those things. So it needs space. Then there are cardboards, the boxes, packaging materials, so your honeycomb wraps and all of those things, they come in. So all of those things do take a lot of space. So when you're deciding to do a business, to start something of your own, it not just takes 100% space in your mind, it takes 100% space of everything that you own, everything. And you got to be okay with that, because that is the most, I think it's physically frustrating after a point of time.
And for the people around you. I mean, really big kudos to people who have lived with us in our this mess, as you said. But yeah, shout out to Faaizah's husband
Yes, please.
and my parents. Kidding, I love you, I love you. But yeah, okay. So back to business, right? So you mentioned honeycomb wrap, which I'm very interested in knowing more about. So is the packaging along with the natural ingredients? You said you're at 95. I know you're aiming for more as much as you can. Do you also have sustainable packaging going out with your?
So right now, yes. So right now, everything that we are, even right from our primary packaging to our secondary packaging to our, the fillers and everything is sustainable. It's plastic free and all of that. Uh, Unfortunately, though, and this breaks my heart. Okay, I am moving towards reusable plastic as containers. Baki sab will remain sustainable and environment friendly. But the immediate containers जिसके अंदर product जाता है,
The one I bought was glass, right? Yeah. It's so. Oh my god, it smells so good.
you liked it?
Yeah, I loved it.
Superb. So yeah, I mean, I'm moving towards that, and trust me, it kills me. How much of a reusable is that? I get that I'm trying to be as cautious even on that route, but unfortunately, as again, everything comes back to the cost, right? So you have to kind of maintain a balance, because for me, what's more important, the product or the packaging?
It's a tough one to.
And I come from advertising, so I actually feel that both are equally important. What goes inside is as important as what's outside, because what outside is the only thing that gets seen by the people. But, and there's a huge but in that, right? Because I'm incurring thrice the cost, not just in buying and purchasing the containers, but to even ship it. I'm shipping it across the country. I'm paying thrice the amount of shipping charges for breakages, and just like it gets heavy, glass is heavier than plastic. And what happens is eventually it's stopping me to give my consumers more value for their money. So if I'm selling a 70 gram at 600, I could actually sell double the amount at probably just like 100, 200 bucks more.
Wow.
So I'm just like, it's a very difficult situation for me to be in, but my products are never going to be compromised. So I figured out what's my bottom line. My bottom line is my product. Because end of the day, आपकी skin पे मेरा product जाएगा, मेरा डब्बा नहीं जाना.
I mean, you have to make your choices at the end of.
Yeah, I mean, they are difficult ones, but you have to, right? You cannot like, it's like advertising करूँ या बट्टी करूँ, वो एक नाव choose करनी पड़ती है end of the day.
So true. And I'm glad we have this platform to discuss that also. So thanks. And here's hoping that, in the future, that Batti and Co reaches such a stage where, you can always start off with a small range of, like completely eco-friendly, zero waste, and then
That's the hope and the dream. That till the time, we are still on the NPNLs, and we're trying to figure things and kind of going out there more. And we are not minting money yet. We are not in the green yet, right? So till that time, we'll do that compromise. And this is something that me and my so I also have a business partner who's also a friend, who's also the girl who actually asked me to make whipped soap. So we have kind of, this is a pact between us, like kuch saal. Okay, so like till the time we reach there, and once we are there, we'll go back to sustainability.
So I think the next question that I have is in the challenges of not just a small business but also being a woman in business. So maybe challenges is the wrong thing. Maybe like a learning or an opportunity, whatever we want to call it right now. So how has your experience been with being a small business? Let's start with that first.
Okay, honestly, being a woman is a challenge itself. Okay. Uh, and regardless of the country, regardless of the culture, regardless of the religion, financial strata, whatever, wherever you are, if you're a woman, it's a challenge in itself, right? So there are different challenges. Yeah, I mean, right from when I was working in a service industry, even then I faced challenges. When I'm working as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, there are a lot of challenges. Like,
Take us through even your advertising. What were the challenges you faced there?
I think the challenges were very similar. Okay. I mean, little bit of, the gender imbalance in the payouts, which are the truth of any industry,
Right.
in most of the countries, is still there. Okay, so unless you have a very hardcore voice, nobody's even bothered to, even see that difference. Even if you have that hardcore voice and you talk about it, you make a mess out of it, then they'll be like, "Arey, kitna kich kich kar rahi hai?" You know,
Yeah.
a man wouldn't do that. But a man doesn't have to do that. That's the beauty of it, right? But regardless, I'm sure there are some men also who are being underpaid, and some women also take a little bit of more advantage. So unfortunately, there are, both kinds of angles to that. But in entrepreneurship, and even then in service industry, sometimes I've come across men whom, let's say, if I'm sitting here, me, and if my husband is sitting, or let's say in service uh, times, when, if let's say my boss is sitting and he's a male, or even if my junior is sitting, doesn't matter, they will look at the guy and talk. I will ask the question, but the response will go to the guy. Oh, it's frustrating, and I'm like, okay. What can you do? Like, you can ask them once, twice. Oh, like, I'm asking, why don't you look at me?
Beyond that, it's like how far do you stretch? I had another question, on this regard itself. So on your Instagram or emails or whatever, when people don't know your gender, okay, they don't know who they are talking to, do they address? How do they say, like, like hello or hi, or is it like dear ma'am, dear sir? Do they automatically assume a gender, or how do they address your business or you?
So, and this happens more on emails, right? Because Instagram पे हमारी शक्ल दिख जाती है कहीं ना कहीं, कोई ना कोई post पे, so people understand that it's a girl running it. But generally on emails this happens, and unfortunately with my name, because it's very similar to Faizan, and my name is Faiza, so people generally assume I'm a he.
Okay.
So they, most of the times, if it's a stranger emailing it to me, like about something, some new offer or some commercial somewhere, it'll always be like, "Dear sir, hi sir, hope you're doing well." I'm like, "Okay, cool, no problem, bro. I'm cool with it. It's fine. You can call me sir, ma'am, whatever you want to do."
Yeah, but I don't know. I found it so annoying because on Instagram, like our team, the green page, right? I mean, yeah, we don't have that many like faces on it, but the first message, like at least 80% of our DMs start with "Dear Sir," and I'm shocked. It's like they think that only men work. And my name, to leave it. No one can pronounce it.
I can relate with you.
And I'm really okay with that. And people, they can't assume any gender. So it just becomes, dear Sephra, sir. I'm okay with that. I mean, theek hai, like, you know, I mean, I'm not okay with it, but I'm just like,
Yeah, I mean, you just let it go, yaar.
Worst part is on the phone. And because I have a very deep voice,
I love your voice.
I get addressed as sir picking up the phone also. So I'm like on 3 levels of, oh my God, like then I have to, like, I'll take it the first time. Then after 2-3 sentences, and they're still saying sir, I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm like, मैं sir नहीं हूँ. I'm like, मैं ma'am भी नहीं हूँ, मुझे नाम से, please call me by name. So then they're like, oh my God, so sorry, ये नहीं पता. But I still haven't understood why is everything always addressed as dear sir. Any business, at least dear slash ma'am to डालो या slash कुछ team to डालो, like put a gender neutral thing.
How about not saying sir or ma'am? Just say hi.
Yeah. But वो hi hello का इतना concept नहीं है ना, especially with the older generations. They are very fixated on addressing.
Also, there's this dear. Dear is very important for some reason.
Very important. And like we were taught in school, na, your formal way of writing letter has to have dear.
Letter writing अब हो गया, मतलब I don't know how many decades ago we have written letters. People are in that zone. No, I get it. But yeah, this is a very normal problem, yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know how to see the future where it stops. And it's women also. When women are also addressing emails, dear sir, I am shocked. I'm like, okay, you know, you keep thinking that men are there, okay, but women are also doing it. Then to matlab, what does one think? Like, I don't know. It's a question mark.
No, it is. I mean, see, now we are in a day and age where we are understanding and being aware of different genders and different ways, the pronouns and all of those things, right? अगर हम वहाँ पहुँच रहे हैं तो हम यहाँ से क्यों आगे नहीं बढ़ रहे हैं? That's my problem. Like, at least let's all move there, no? Why is it just selective moving ahead? Because pronouns are important to all of us, regardless of our gender. So, if you're not sure, please ask. I think the thing is, we need to make it, we as in not just you and I, me, we, but like all of us need to normalize asking. You know, ask, like, Sephra, what is your pronoun?
Yeah. Or how would you like to be addressed?
How would you like to be addressed? It's so easy, but we just feel so awkward in asking these questions.
I don't think we are trained to be very out there.
We are not. We're not. As a culture, as a culture, the country does not. We are not confrontational people, right? जो समझ रहे हो समझ लो, सब ठीक है, you know.
And then we are also taught to be like, if people make a mistake, just let it go. Yeah. So I think hopefully now
होगा, I think, yeah.
I have tried to correct. I do correct. I'm also a little outspoken in these things, but there are sometimes that I'm very tired. I'm just like,
Yeah. You are like हाँ ठीक है यार, काम की बात कर दे, बता दे क्या चाहिए तुझे, you know.
But hopefully people who are listening to this, please, you don't have to say dear sir all the time or dear ma'am. Just say hello. We love hellos. Okay. So yeah, we were talking about, you know, challenges. So anything on the entrepreneurial front that, you know, you could speak about that would really like maybe help a fellow entrepreneur who's struggling. So anything that you felt in especially in your first 1-2 years, so are the biggest, to me personally, are the biggest years of struggle. So anything there that you faced and you remember that?
Yeah, everything is a challenge, yeah, when you're an entrepreneur. Like right from सामान कहाँ रखे से लेकर के पैसे कहाँ से लाएं से लेकर के if you already are in a job, then you need to figure out how do you balance it out. If you have children, then you are trying to figure out how to manage their lives along with your newfound interest or business or whatever. There are challenges when your family members will not think it's a business. They'll think it's an interest, it's a hobby. And that hurts more than पैसे का problem or जगह का problem, right? So you will face a lot of these things, yeah, but like, you got to move on. These things don't matter. Like, you need to keep pushing through. I think it's just, for an entrepreneur, it's a even if it becomes a highly profitable business, like inshallah, green becomes a highly profitable business, you will still be like, oh my God, this is my child. You will still be like, और क्या कर सकते हैं guys, और बढ़ाओ, right? how can we make our products better? Why don't we start something of our own or this and that, right? So
You're constantly like in overdrive.
you'll always be in overdrive and you'll always face a lot of restrictions, a lot of hurdles. Hoga hi. You have to find solutions. You cannot get, there are bad days. I will not even sugarcoat it. I will not even lie about it. There are bad days when you're like, what the fuck have I done with my life? But I think it's part of the journey. And it's okay to feel guilt or remorse or any feeling that you're going through. Embrace it. It's fine to be angry. It's fine to be aggressive. It's okay to feel sad or feel a regret about some decisions or whatever. Because you're learning, you are evolving. If you are an entrepreneur, if you are a small business owner, you are evolving at least 10x speed than anybody else around you. You are learning way too many things way too fast. And I think that's fucking commendable.
It is.
Because, it's, and there is that thrill, yeah. Like, there are days जब नहीं बिकता सामान. It's okay. And then there are days when you're like, oh my God, I need 4 more hands.
But that's I think you brought up a very beautiful point, which I've never thought about myself. It's embracing your emotions, because people tend to, overlook it. So you reach a point where you're like, acha, 2 months, you're like, you're struggling, you're working hard, and you don't like, you forget your emotions. You're like, leave it, yaar, I have a goal karna hai. And then it's like a pressure cooker building up, And then on that second month and one day, you're like, chodna hi hai, yaar. And people sometimes give in to that. So to be able to embrace your emotions and give yourself, you need a break. Take that one day, be angry, be sad, be whatever. And then to learn to come back to, okay, this is still my baby, still my business, ye karna hi hai, yaar. So I really love that point, and it is a very big challenge. So
when I say that you got to move on from certain bad days or restrictions or hurdles, I don't mean ki forget about them.
Yeah.
Like look at them look them in the eye. Look at it how it's burdening you. Try to figure out a solution if you can, if you possibly can, because most of the times you possibly can. And if you can't, then try something else. It's okay. Let it be. Let it simmer for a bit. And whatever it's making you feel, go through those emotions. Because you cannot. I might get publicly shamed for this, but it's like being a mother, right? Your child will aggravate you. Your child will frustrate you. It will give you happiness and love some days. And you will feel like, oh my God, being a mother is tough, right? But you don't give that up. Then how can you give this up?
Right? Why would you be publicly shamed for?
No, I mean, nobody likes to compare their child with anything else. And I would totally get that feeling, but I'm just trying to give a flip side to it, where that has also come from you, the child. This has also come from you, just different body parts. It's okay.
Very true. I feel like one more thing. I don't know if you face this in your business, but a challenge is asking for help. So I now, the more I talk to people, the more I wonder, is it an intrinsic, or maybe society has molded women to not think of asking for help as one of the first even 5 solutions that pop into their head? Or is it, an entrepreneurial thing of like, chhod yaar, I'll just figure out A to Z by myself without asking for help? So I don't know. What is...
Oh, I have a very detailed take on it, okay?
Go for it.
So I think it's primarily a women thing. Couple of reasons behind that. One being and you would probably relate with it. I think most of the women would relate with it, that हमें जब किसी से कुछ काम करवाना होता है, हम एक बार किसी को तरफ देखते हैं and then सोचते हैं यार इसको बहुत समझाना पड़ेगा, fuck it, मैं खुद ही कर लेती हूँ.
Oh my God, yes, yes.
And it's not like we're not being martyrs here, okay? I'm not a martyr. I'm not saying कि मैं मदर इंडिया, मैं दुनिया का बोझ अपने सर पे उठा के मैं अपना सारा काम कर लूँगी. No, it's just like that's way more effort than doing it yourself. So there is that angle to it. So most of the times it's because of that. Chalo, let's say you have a person whom you can delegate very nicely, or you can seek help in some kind of opinions or when you're discussing certain issues of your business, or saying, pick up a call on your friend and say, just talk to me today because I'm just not in the right state of mind. And that's also a help you seek sometimes, and sometimes you fail to seek that help. I think वो हम mostly नहीं कर पाते is because हमें लगता है ये तो मेरा problem है ना, ये दूसरे का problem थोड़ी है.
Why should I burden someone else with my issues?
So it's coming from a nice place, but end of the day, it's self-sabotage. It's self-sabotage for your own self and for your brand, for your business, for your service, whatever you're doing right now. And when you do that, as in our previous segment, you spoke about being a pressure cooker because of emotions. This is also the same situation. You become a pressure cooker. एक दिन जब तुम फटोगे, लोगों को समझ ही नहीं आएगा कि क्या हो गया इसके साथ.
अरे पागल हो गई, आउटबर्स्ट हो गया इसका, oh my god, बताया था ना, why did you take on this initiative if you couldn't handle it? Which is, yeah.
So I think it's imperative that we ask and seek help. Delegation is, I think, very important. Yes, I understand for a very long time you'll not even have money to delegate.
Yeah.
Okay? You'll not have a team. You'll not have people working under you. Maybe you're like how my husband, he has a full-time job, right? So I think the only help that he can give me is saying, babe, I'm there for you.
Sometimes that works. Sometimes you're like, I need more, please help me more.
But I'm grateful that he's giving me that. Okay, then there is a friend who would say, hey, you know what? Chal coffee mein milte, chal let's discuss the feedback.
Yeah.
That's the help that I'm looking for. And for a very long time, and I'm not even going to shy away from this because this happens with all of us, right? I've been very defensive to people suggesting some changes in my organization or changes in some product. I'm like, hey, you don't know this, okay? It's mine. And I'm a single child, so it comes from that single child syndrome also, that I understand my thing the best. But it's not true. It's not true. Sometimes you need a third eye. Sometimes you need a different perspective. So seeking help is very important. It could be emotional. It could be something related to a service that you use to create your product, or just a word of mouth. Just talk to people and your friends. If you have 10 friends, just tell them, hey, let's talk about green now.
Yeah.
On this particular platform.
Yeah.
It's okay. So, बहुत सारी help होती है जो हम नहीं मांगते, but मांगनी चाहिए.
I agree. But I would say that is a very big, challenge from like a macro perspective, if I had to look at it, for sure. And what would you say, like, in terms of risk appetite? Like, of course, entrepreneur means you have to have, of course, you have to have that risk appetite. But do you think that since you started now, 3 years, in the business, do you think your risk appetite has gone from here to here, or?
Oh, definitely increased. Because also what happens is when you're starting, when is that ground zero, right? तब तुम्हारे लिए वो करना ही अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ा रिस्क होता है. तो उसके ऊपर तो तुम सोच नहीं सकते ज़्यादा. And because as I mentioned, I'm like literally putting money from my pocket. So it's a lot of you just don't realize what is happening. Like, okay, I'm not shopping anymore, but there's no money. Where is that money? Okay, so that ground zero में risk appetite बहुत कम होता है. But as in when you see the love and the support that is coming from your consumers, I think that fuels us up.
Yeah.
I mean, every day one order also, if my Shopify account just chimes in, it's just like, oh, somebody wants us. And that kind of gives you the risk-taking ability. It keeps increasing. You have to definitely be mindful of how much and what kind of risks you're taking. It always has to be calculated, even if they are broadly calculated, but they have to be calculated. You cannot one day decide कि आज मैं 10 लाख रुपए डाल दूंगा, या मैं आज मैं Shark Tank पे जाऊंगा. You can't do that. You have to have structure. I think one of the most biggest mistakes people do is not working in a structured way. Small businesses generally start out of chaos, right? But the sooner you'll put structure to them, the easier your life would be, the faster your growth would be.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of startups can, from the startups that I've spoken to also, and myself, it is so chaotic. So there is like, on one hand, you're like, trying to process operationally, okay, orders are coming, I have to fulfill. Arey, but structure bhi chahiye, oh my God. It's just that constant cycle of, oh my God. Yeah, how do I manage both? So yeah, but when you do get that time to sit back, take a step, and like assess, is when you can actually, like you might even be able to double your sales if you take that step back and analyze. So
बिकॉज हम नहीं कर पाते, हमें लगता है हम चलती गाड़ी को कैसे ठीक करें, राइट? सो दैट्स ओके, टेक अ पॉज। एक महीने तुम्हारा कोई प्रोडक्ट नहीं बिकेगा या एक महीने कंटेंट नहीं जाएगा बाहर, वर्सेस you taking that 30 days and sorting your 2 years.
yeah, it's
Imagine.
huge.
It's huge.
So, I just wanted to know a little bit about where is Batti & Co. like present right now? You say, I think you mentioned, of course, in Bombay, to now you're delivering pan India, but are you also available in like retail locations? And how has that experience been of being in in different retail stores?
So, to answer your first question, we are present. Online presence is pan India. Physical presence is Goa, Pune, and Navi Mumbai. So, and obviously, we are trying and hoping to expand it to as many more cities as possible. Like, I would love to be in Hyderabad and Bangalore. We get a lot of orders from Assam, West Bengal, Karnataka. So, I would love to kind of cover everything. That's an entrepreneur's ambition. But yeah, so we are present in these cities. And to answer your second question, the experience has been nice. It has been rewarding. We started our Goa retail in, so we first in Goa we started out with a couple of pop-ups here and there. Then we moved on to some designer retail outlets, so like the designer collectives and all of that. Then we decided to have our own retail outlet, so it's a small little Khud Ka Batti Ka store. And then we also have a small little setup at W Goa. So I mean, yeah, so that, and it has been really rewarding because more people get to see your product.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of it, and this is the hard truth of physical retail. A lot of it goes in the commission and the shelf costs that you pay. And these are the things nobody wants to talk about, right? But it's the reality of it, and most of our margins go in that.
Yeah.
So that plus shipping is, we are sorted, we are done. There's nothing left.
You're praying every day to break even.
That's it. Literally every day. Like आज कितना बिका यार, कोई बता दो. It's that. Um, but I understand it's also a step in the direction of where that money starts pouring back in. It will. So it's a part of the process. But overall, I would say that the experience has been nice because I get to physically make my products seen, felt, smelled, and
And the right target audience, I assume. Yeah.
that's important. Like if I'm selling a detan scrub, then if you're in Goa, you're going to get tanned, right? So you would pick up a detan scrub. So it's very important to kind of be in a place where your audience is going to be, or at least your audience is conducive to buy these things.
So that then gets me to ask you. So Goa was a planned.
Goa is love, Sephra. Okay, Goa is heart and soul.
The name of the podcast, Goa is heart and soul. I agree to it.
Yeah, so, and it's so strange. So every time, every year, if I would suggest that, hey, chal na Goa chalte hain. My husband like, yaar, come on, yaar, like, same amount of money we could go to Kerala, we could go to Himachal, we could go and probably spend little less also and come back. Okay, but I was like, but you don't get it. My soul takes a vacation in Goa. Okay, so I have literally went, even when there was no batti. And let me tell you this, I was very, very against having my own business, always. I have never actually, I was never pro business. I was always a pro service person. I like, pagar aa raha hai mera pehli tarikh ko, I'm happy with that. So even in those days, I was like, यार कुछ तो जिंदगी में ना eventually ऐसा करना है कि मैं गोवा में जाके settle हो जाऊँ. And then Batti happened, and because of my business partner, we so she has a place in Goa. So she's like, अगर गोवा में कुछ करना है, so you can, you have a place to stay. So, these small things really help out a small business owner.
One of my last few questions to you, Faiza, is regarding scalability and your future plans. Specifically targeting, you said that your soap, your products are handmade. They take 4 weeks, for some of them to dry and to get made. So how do you scale such a venture? What are your future plans? You can share something with us? Yeah.
So, uh, as much as my vision goes, Sephra, it always has to be handmade. Doesn't have to be my two hands, but it has to be handmade, right? So that's the zone I'm working in, and I want to do that because the kind of the I mean, look at the population of our country and all of that, right? I want to employ more and more people. I want to make this a larger organization.
Yeah.
So the handmade angle will remain the handmade angle. I don't want to become a commercial mass produced. Yeah, like khali label में natural and organic नहीं चाहिए मुझे. It needs to come from like all the love. Like uh, if you would ever get a chance, just see the label behind the whip soap that you bought. Uh, or after all the ingredients it says, and the secret ingredient is love, because it is. Each formulation, each batch is made with so much care that I don't want to let go of it. Yes, it will slow me down, which I'm okay with. After all, I am promoting slow living. I cannot be like saying कि नहीं मेरा business जल्दी भागना चाहिए, but तुम slow living करो, okay? Everything takes its own time. That's how sustainability is, right? That's how it works. You need to give everything its own pace. Uh, but what it also gives me is I can employ a lot more people in my organization who can help me fasten up the process, if not by the pace of it, but at least by the numbers of it.
Sure.
Right? And my cold process soap is the only one that takes 4 weeks. Rest everything does not take that much of time. So rest of the SKUs max take 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
Each batch. So, and imagine right now we're just working with like team of 4. If we become team of 40, inshallah, at someday, or team of 400, inshallah, someday, it will be so much more.
Yeah.
And so much faster.
That's amazing. I think, I think we can wrap this up here because you've answered all our questions. If there's anything you want to discuss, any comments you have.
Hats off to you guys for doing this. I think, we need more and more platforms which are like just like carefree platforms where people can come and discuss and talk and not be judged. It's just amazing. And I wish each and every entrepreneur, small business owner, or even a thinker who wants to someday, own a small business, all the very best to you guys. And just don't get too much in your head and just do it.
So we have the last section, which is the fun section, where we're going to do the rapid fire, okay? Where cue some tense music in the background. Okay.
This coffee with Sephra.
Oh, please. It's vegan coffee with... Yeah, that's the peak of my creativity. I think I have reached it. But okay. So back to it. One item you don't leave the house without.
As in like carrying?
Yeah.
Water.
Water. Okay. What's your favorite SKU in Batti Co?
My whipped soaps.
Nice. Any particular flavor that you love?
Glacial glow.
Lovely. Okay. One thing you're tired of listening to as an entrepreneur?
Hoga, धीरे धीरे होगा. You have to have patience. I don't have patience, okay?
One thing you love about being an entrepreneur?
That I understand there's a lot of pressures and situational things, but I'm still calling the shots, so it's good.
Okay. That's a good one. Yeah. Okay. So that's the end of the rapid fire. It was a very small one. Only 5 questions. Now, it's another game that I'll give you one word. Tell me the word that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Okay, just one word. You have 3 seconds.
That Phoebe wala thing.
Yes, it is. You can think of it to be like that, okay? The first word is ethics.
Work.
Okay. Sustainability.
Batti Co.
Lovely. Justice.
Is eventuality.
3 words, but okay, we'll take
Eventuality.
skin.
Imperfect is perfect.
3 words again, but we'll take it. It's fine. Love.
Yourself.
Green.
Greened. Damn. Let me just clarify. It was not a seeded conversation. Okay, guys. Came right through my heart. It's green, right?
I love that. Last word for her, Goa.
Love.
Great. Okay, that brings us to the end of our amazing episode with Faaizah. So thank you so much, Faaizah, for being here.
Thank you,
I
Sevra.
hope you had a good time.
Oh, I loved it thoroughly. Thank you.
Great.